So welcome everyone to Texada's webinar series, Equipped for Success. Today we're going to be talking about how you can create a superior online experience with Texada GateWay. And just to get ourselves started, let's go over the agenda. We're just going to do some intro and housekeeping by myself. I'm here at Texada working on strategic marketing projects. I'm also going to be talking about a little bit about customer trends in e-commerce. Then we're going to hand it over to KJ Park, who is our head of growth and strategy. He's going to talk to you about a very detailed customer example and a review of the solution itself. Then we're going to give you a nice product demonstration by Adam Croft, who is our head of product management. And then we'll close it out with Q&A. So we're here for 30 minutes. We don't want to keep you too much longer. We know you guys are busy. You get to choose where you spend your time. And so we're thankful that you're choosing it with us. So again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. Don't hesitate, please, to raise your hand. We'll try to get you off of mute and help you ask your questions as you have them. Or you can put them in the chat, and we're going to definitely allow time at the end. Once this webinar is completed, you will be getting access to the recorded information in your email box. Probably you'll get it sometime tomorrow. So you'll have a chance to have the slides and the content if you want to look at it later. Okay, so let's talk about some trends in e-commerce. One of the things we like to start with is, do equipment companies need online rental capabilities? A lot of folks in the rental industry feel very comfortable with being very hands-on and discussing rental products and inventory, on the phone or live at the store. So is it possible that we now have to make sure that all these rental businesses are moving to online capabilities? Well, the way we can answer this question is to just talk about the user base these days. And the user base these days consists of the millennials. So you yourself might be in that category, but since 2016, millennials have made up the majority of the workforce. And so why is this important? Millennials start the business-to-business process differently. They always begin with an online search. Doesn't matter the product, it doesn't matter the industry. And as we're seeing, millennials are increasingly becoming the decision makers in the org. In fact, the oldest turned 40 just 2 years ago. So folks that are, have been in the online realm for a long time. They're so used to being online. So now we're at the point where the question is, how can you not have an online e-commerce capability with your rental business? It is exactly what your customers are looking for, and they'll continue to want it more and more. So we thought we'd start with the poll just to get a feel for our audience here. Let me go ahead and launch this poll. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. Hopefully it's coming through. Gosh, I hope it is. If it's not, someone needs to let me know. We're asking you, how would you describe your current e-commerce solution? Please choose one. Do you think it's pretty good, just needs a few tweaks? Do you think it's a disaster? Or are you thinking, what e-commerce solution? So we'll just give it a little bit to see if we can get a full house to answer here before we provide the results. I'm gonna just hope for get 1 or 2 more people to give us their opinion. Okay, let's share those results. And hopefully you guys are seeing those results. It looks like majority said, what e-commerce solution? And a few of you said it's a disaster. So we hope that you're able to get something out of this webinar today where we talk about how you can easily have an e-commerce solution added to your platform and what that would look like. So thanks for taking the time to do that. All right, I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to KJ.
All right, thank you, Vina. Welcome, everyone. Very excited. And we'll talk to you a little bit about the customer example and sort of the solution that we're offering.
Okay.
Next slide. So a little bit of background about myself. I currently work at Texada, heading up growth and strategy, but Texada was actually a part of a company called Noble Iron. And some of you may have heard of Noble Iron if you're from the West Coast. But Noble Iron was a RER 100 rental company, and it was the parent company of Texada. In 2017, it was sold to Sunbelt, and so we became fully just software operated. But during the time that we were operating the rental company, we really were looking for a lot of different ways to innovate in the marketplace. And one of the things that we were thinking about was, and this is again sometime in the range of like 2014 to 2016, of creating a web store, not just as a static homepage, but a place where you can actually rent and sell equipment. And the benefit of Texada at the time was a lot of these things that we thought about from a software standpoint could be directly applied and experimented through Inoline. So when we thought about the web store, there were a couple of things that needed to happen for us to then manage this and become like a full product. The first one was real-time availability. Most websites, if at all, at the time were just static pages, just showcasing some equipment and a phone number and an email just to call. What we wanted to do was create on real-time availability where if equipment was available, they would be accessible online for people to rent. And if they were not available, it would notify so. The other thing is many people assume that there's just one type of pricing. But in fact, on a rental store, there's multiple pricing based on accounts, based on customers. And you don't want to always reveal just one price. You want to have that sort of dynamic based on the customer. So how is that going to be possible was a question that we were trying to answer. The other one was to check in and check out instantly. So can we rent equipment online and have that checked out instantly? And so that it could be available and prepped for delivery to the customer. And finally, online transactions and online payments. So how can we get credit card transactions through? And this was at the time sort of, not like completely innovative, but it was not very well executed in many different software companies. So we wanted to be at the forefront of that. Next slide. So in our sort of, I guess, beta phase, if you will, during that time, we were launching the Noble Iron website that was powered by Texada. We actually came across some very interesting findings. First one was when we launched the site, the rental sales team was using it predominantly to terminate equipment on the fly as customers would call in and say, hey, we've stopped the rent, can you terminate the equipment? And instead of calling the customer rep or emailing, let's say, the support team at Noble Iron, they would immediately just terminate through the website. What that did was allow faster equipment pickups, which meant that the logistics team be able to understand which equipment was not available, or sorry, it was off rent, and could then go pick up that equipment much quicker, and therefore there was a bigger cycle of equipment that could be rented. For customers, what they loved about the site was being able to actually check invoices and what was on and off rent. A lot of customers are not just renting one-offs; they're bigger accounts renting maybe tens of hundreds of equipment. And so the ability to check all those invoices and see what's on rent and what's off rent was very important. And it really created a lot of visibility and transparency for the customers. And the value overall, what we noticed was our support load reduced, which meant that there was more time for support to be handling, bigger, broader cases, not just terminations and pickups. And also, for us, this was a big one, which was there was sometimes disputes regarding invoices and terminations because customers normally call in, they leave a voice message saying, hey, we've stopped we want to stop the rental. However, the record was not either there or maybe there was some dispute. And all of that sort of disappeared as those customers started using the online portal for terminations. So these were some interesting findings. And if you go to the next slide, Vina. So the overall value of the e-commerce is really that you speed up the process of transactions. So it's faster service, which means that customers really can check the site for the latest inventory and process orders conveniently, anytime, anywhere, instead of thinking about, oh, is it open business hours? What's the phone number? What's the email, etc. Number two, it really saves time on both sides, really the rental company and for the customers, because now you're reducing phone calls. Employees can focus on more complicated tasks. Maybe there's other operational issues. And so really there was a lot of time saving that can be had with e-commerce solutions. And then finally, what's important is also collecting payment. Instead of getting checks by mail, you could collect payments through online and through a payment processing tool. Next slide. So at the time and even currently, some of the main choices if someone wants to actually build an e-commerce solution is either you hire a web developer or a team and completely manage that whole process, which is also very complicated and not like a simple just static website, because there's a lot of transactions that go through a rental site. Or you choose an off-the-shelf template. And I can tell you that sure, there are many places like Shopify and other sites where you can create a website, but when it comes to rental transactions, where again, as I mentioned before, you want to have pricing, dynamic pricing available, where you can show availability and where you can cycle through rentals, this is not something that is commonly available as an off-the-shelf template. So we have what we believe is the best option for you. Vina, next slide. And it's really Texada. And Texada GateWay has evolved much more than when it first was started in the mid 2014. And really, it's a full flushed out e-commerce web store where you can view all of your equipment, and we can integrate that with your inventory so that all that can be available for rent online. You can request your rentals and terminate rental for pickup just through the portal. And it's just like that. You can just click of a button and you can ask for rentals or terminate the rentals. Your customers can view the account history. You yourself can view that as well. Even the sales team can also do that. They can check contracts and invoices, also part of the account history. And also, if there's service required, you can just go through the website as well. And so these are some of the main benefits. There's a whole lot more. Adam Croft will let you talk through some of the details of that through his demo. But I think this is a very exciting time where, as you heard before, millennials are moving in to just online use of anything. And therefore, we feel like we have the right tool for you and your customers to help rent and sell equipment. Next slide. Back to you, Vina.
We're going to do another poll. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. What gaps does your org currently face on your website? And now this is a multiple choice, so you don't feel like you have to choose just one. Do you see that customers can't rent online? Do you feel like customers can't pay invoices online? Are continued customer disputes on rental pickups a real problem? Or do you feel like your salespeople have no visibility into customer transactions? Just going to wait a little bit to see if we can get some more responses here. And again, it's multiple choice, so many of you might have multiple problems. Okay, so if you look at the results here, it looks like the majority of you are concerned with customers not being able to pay invoices online. And then right after that, it looks like customers can't rent online. So that seems to be the two areas that you guys are most concerned with. But salespeople not having visibility into customer transactions, that's also a concern. And the fact that there are disputes on rental pickups, that is true for 30% of you, but it's not the majority. Okay. Now I think I'm going to give Adam some control here. Let's see if that works for you, Adam.
Looks like it did. Right, and can we see my screen here with the banner on? Looks like we're good.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so thank you very much for teaming me up, Vina and KJ. I'm going to go fairly quickly through the different pieces here, just because they only gave me 10 minutes. So I'm going to do my best. As they kind of touched on a little bit through the slide deck there, there's really three main components or user groups or use cases for Gateway. And really, Gateway at the end of the day can really be your website, and it can be used for your customers. So you can throw your logo up here. Obviously be your locations, all your store information, your list of stores that you may have. If you've got multiple stores, you can see which ones they are and you can locate by your the closest store, all pretty standard stuff. And as we're going through here, again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A box so we can answer them afterwards as well. So first things foremost, KJ mentioned how the salespeople were using it on the fly. A lot of them were using it on the mobile device. So if we shrink this down, it is all mobile responsive. It can be on a tablet, it can be on a phone. Doesn't matter what device you're on. It's good to go that way. The side we're looking at right now, this would be more of your home page. This would be for doing online rentals, and you can browse your different types of equipment. You can build your own hierarchy, organize it however it makes sense for your business. We'll just go and do an example air compressor here. I can see my different rates. I can see some different options here. You can also build a list of favorites if you wanted as well. If your customer is always renting the same couple of things, it's great to be able to go straight to the key part of the catalog for them. And if you're in your product page, again, you can see your rates. You can have as many pictures as you want. You can embed videos. You can have spec sheets. You can have like how to use the equipment. All of that's available to at any time for your customer to be able to go and use that. And we have one customer who actually put a barcode on their equipment that links back to Gateway to show them, okay, this is how you use it. So that customers have those like care and use tips available at any time as well. So if we throw one in the cart here, we can show you what the cart experience looks like. As KJ mentioned, real-time availability is an option for you if you want to. So I'm logged in as a salesperson, so I can see availability. Some customers or some rental houses may want their customers to see availability, some may not. So it's totally optional and configurable on what you're exposing to your customers. These are my rates as my customer directly as it's entered in SRM. So you don't need to worry about maintaining multiple sets of rates, multiple sets of availability. It's all tied into SRM to be your real-time engine on that side. So as we check out here, we can do things like select job sites that already exist in SRM. So we can use that, say who's picking it up, what their phone number is. And if there's a PO required for this customer, that's also enforced here on the Gateway side. And if there's any special instructions, gate code, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the option to move forward with this and actually order this or say, hey, I just want to find out more. I want to get a quote for this, and then your sales team can reach out to them as well. So we'll flip through proceeding to pay here. It's confirming I have enough available credit, so I can proceed with here as well. And this order now shows up in SRM. My customer got a copy via email, and the location that I've sent this to, they also got a copy via email to let them know to go in and convert that into a reservation or contract, depending on whatever dates they have there. The other side of it that I wanted to get through today is the self-service customer access side. So this would be like your, okay, this is what I've rented in the last 12 months. What type of equipment am I renting? This is the seasonality of my rentals. And again, I'm viewing this as a salesperson, or your customer can see this themselves if they log in directly as well. So see, okay, I'm as a salesperson, I can say, okay, this customer's got a lot of invoices over 90 days. I should follow up with them to make sure they keep their account good standing so that they can continue to get more rentals from us. So
hey, Adam, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We do have a question from someone in the audience.
Sure.
I wonder if you could, if you don't mind, you have to, because you're the host, you're going to have to go to their name and allow them to talk. Looks like it's Bobby.
Perfect. Bobby. And there you go.
Bobby, you might be on mute, but if you unmute, you should be able to ask your question.
Can you hear
Yep.
We can hear you.
me? Oh, I didn't have a question. I thought y'all could hear me talking or something.
Oh, no worries.
Nope, not at all. No worries. Okay.
Anything else?
All right.
As you were, Adam. Apologies.
No problem. All right, so we're back out here. We can see this. We can jump into our rentals as well. So these are all the things that, like, it defaults to the open contracts. So these are all the equipment that are haven't been fully returned yet. I can see the different types of equipment here, and really you can see tons and tons of data. You can choose what's displayed, what's not displayed, and make a default view if there's specific data points you're always looking for. If you've got telematics for your fleet, you can also see the real-time location of things that are being rented and displayed on the map. Another key piece that our customers really like is the rate calendar here. So this one just went out a couple days ago. So if we look at next month, it's going to show me, hey, the return period was going to be on June 6th, but because my my daily rate is 3 days equals a week, it actually is the same price to me as a customer if I return it on the 5th or if I return it on the 8th. So why wouldn't I use the extra couple days? You know, really maximize the rental optimization for my fleet that way. And as I change the due date here, again, it updates the rental contract as well. So your fleet availability is more accurate if your customers are coming in here and maintaining. They can receive emailed alerts every day, week, whatever they want to configure it to say, hey, here's all your equipment that's going to be due soon. You know, you want to request to be picked up. That way, instead of it sitting on their yard, it can come back to yours and you can get it out to another customer. They also have the ability to, if we just take one here, you can also request equipment to be picked up from here as well. So here's the equipment that's currently on rent. Okay, yes, I'm going to pick up both of these. And as soon as I click submit, again, it creates the pickup ticket directly in the rental system. So that you have that pickup ticket ready for your team to be dispatching in real time. So we're able to self-serve all the rentals. And the last piece I want to go over quickly here is on the invoices side. So this customer's got tons and tons of invoices, so it takes a second, but this is going to be showing me all of my invoices that haven't been paid yet. I can also filter it to look for paid ones if I want to look back in time. And it can show me all those, or I can filter to, you know, just show me my ones that are in the 90-day bucket or any of them in particular. And then if I grab a couple invoices here, because of the integration with Texada Pay, I can pay these automatically through the website. So these are card on file that I already have in the Texada system, or I can add a new card if I want to, and we support both the credit card and bank accounts. So really, however you want to get paid, you're able to do that, and they're able to do that on their own. And you know, never a customer can never say, "Hey, I didn't receive the invoice," if they can come in here and they can see all their invoices at any time. So that's kind of the high level view. I'd be happy to walk through in more detail as needed for anybody who's interested, as well as answer any questions in the group here.
Thank you so much, Adam. Okay, we do have a couple of questions that have come through, so I'll go ahead and ask those. Adam, how long does it take to get this implemented?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I'm going to go with it depends and then be more specific. So for the customer access side, which is what we're looking at right here, there's not a lot of setup or configuration. Most of it's done by the Texada team, basically just connecting your web instance of Gateway to your Texada SRM instance, and then all the data just flows automatically. So you just have to populate, like, okay, upload your logo, put in your store names and phone numbers and addresses, and then, you know, we'd walk you through how to set up users and you'd be off to go. So typically it takes 1 to 2 days to get up and running, maybe a couple hours of work total for you or your team. And then on the e-commerce side, we have customers who launch in a matter of a couple of weeks. It just depends how much inventory you want to load before you go live. But the good news is, you know, we have one customer who loaded 12 things, put in their pictures, put in their descriptions, and then, you know, they just tried to do a couple each day or each week. And then over time, they had the entire fleet up. So they're able to use it right away, as well as continue building it over time.
Excellent, thank you. The next question is, how does this integrate with my current site? Am I going to need a second website?
Yeah, so again, there's options both ways. So if you see here, like this one's URL in our demo environment is gatewaydemo.texada.software. So you can set it up as what's called a subdomain of your website. So we've got customers who call it login.therentalcompany or portal.therentalcompany, and they use the customer access side right away. And then we have other customers who make it their entire site. So they populate like their about us and their addresses and locations and all this stuff. And they use it as their full website on therentalcompany.com, their main domain. So it can be both, or it can be either, whatever is your comfort level.
Another question that's come in, who manages the update?
Yeah, so we provide the ability for you to maintain most of the information by yourselves. The rest of it is just automatically synced with SRM. So as a new fleet is added, as your rates change, all that's updated automatically. And then as you add users or remove users, they can see those different things. If you want to add more fleet, then you just go and you add more fleet, and then you add the pictures and descriptions. So you're able to maintain that just like most other websites you would. And no coding required. So much easier.
Okay. It looks like, I'm just looking at the Q&A. Oh, here's another question that's come in. What is the average size of dealer that utilizes Texada's rental solution, maybe measured in count of rental assets?
Sure. Average is hard because we've got a wide range of customers. I would say typically going from a couple hundred assets all the way up to, we have a customer with almost 300,000 assets serialized in their fleet. So average would be probably 1,000 plus, but hard to give an exact number on that.
Okay. Another question that's come in. This is great, guys. We have a couple minutes left. Please don't hesitate to ask your questions. Another one that's come in says, can you search more than one location when you have real-time availability?
Yeah, so what you would do is, I can navigate over here. When you're in your cart, there we go. When you're in your cart, you'd be able to toggle your location. Actually, let's throw product in here. I'll throw our compressor in again. So if you had a list of things you wanted to rent, you'd be able to look in the cart here. You can see how many are available. If you want to change your store, then you would just look at the next location and you'd be able to see how many they have available. So in this example, the first location had availability, but the second one didn't. But it's that simple to be able to check. Typically, you'd start with your closest store and then work your way outwards. And the site kind of gives you a list in that order.
Great question. Okay, I don't see any more that's come through, and we are at time. We want to say thank you again for joining us at Texada today. We hope that was informative. We hope you enjoyed our inspections webinar from last time, and if you want more information about that, that is offered on our website. We will be sending this out to all those of you that have attended, and we're going to be doing a lot more of these. So please make sure you keep looking at your email, and as soon as we get another one on the docket, we'll send that out. So appreciate your time today. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.